Hello everyone, this is Nishant from AppNox. I work here as a senior security researcher, handling projects involving mobile, web applications, and IoT penetration testing. Today, in this video, we'll be discussing what is an intercepting proxy and also give you a demo on how to use one. Let us first understand what is a proxy and how this helps in application security testing. To assess the security of the application, it is important to understand the requests and the data going out from the client to the web server. An intercepting proxy enables this, and also it helps us intercept HTTPS communications. HTTPS communications, which are encrypted on both the client and server side, can also be intercepted because we will have to install a custom certificate into the device. By device, I mean here it can be the browsers, it can be the Android device, it can be the iOS device or an iPad or whatsoever. So after I install, I can intercept HTTPS traffics as well. And once that is done, the Burp will actually forward the traffic from the Burp suite tool to the original web service so that we can get a response from the web service as well. So yeah, let us start with the demo on how to use one of the most popular intercepting proxies available in the market, Burp suite. Burp has both pro and free versions. Though the Pro version has a lot of extensibility and a lot of additional features which are very helpful during penetration testing, the free version is more than enough to get started. So yeah, first what I'm going to do is start the proxy listener in my system. I go to proxy options, and under the proxy listeners tab, I can see there is option to add an interface, right? So I click on add, I enter the port number, and I click on all interfaces. Here we can see the proxy interface has been started, and this is listening for communications, and it will accept communications as soon as we start to visit a website or a mobile application or whatsoever. The next important step here is to install the certificate in the device, right? So to install the certificate in the device, I'm going to open my browser. I have selected preferences. I'm going to search for proxy, and under the settings option, we can see that you can actually configure proxy using this option, and whatever traffic is going from the browser now is going to go through Burp, which will be intercepted. So now to enable the manual proxy, I click on manual proxy configurations. I enter the proxy IP, which is 127.0.0.1, and the port number is 8080, and I select use this proxy server for all protocols, and I click on OK. So now the web browser has been So now the web browser has been configured to go through the proxy, right? So I'm going to install the certificate. How do you install the certificate of Burp in the browser? You visit this website, which is http://burp. So here we can see there is an option to download the CA certificate of Burp. So it prompts us to download cscert.dar. I save it. Save proxy. I've downloaded. So the next step is to import the certificate which was installed to the browser, right? So again, I go to preferences. I search for certificates. I click on view certificates. Yeah, here we can see all the certificates which are installed and trusted by the browser. There are a lot of certificates here. So for me now, I'll have to import the certificate which I have downloaded for the Burp, right? So I click on import. It goes to the downloads option. I click on burpproxy.dar, open. So yeah, this certificate has been installed, and if you can go down, we can see the certificate Portswigger CM, which is the Burb's parent company. We can see the certificate has been installed in our device. So from now on, we'll be able to intercept HTTPS traffic and also HTTP traffic, right? So yeah, I click on OK. I go to the browser and enable the HTTP history here. Here, consider I go to a website now, say it's google.com. So if you go to the Burp now, we are going to see whatever traffic which is being sent from the browser to the google.com's website. So for instance, we can see there is a post request going to this host http.google we can see www.google.com, right? And it's a post request with a few parameters here, with a cookie, and so on. So here is the list of all the parameters which are sent by the client to the Google server. And this is the response which we got from Google. So it's a 204 response, and it has a lot of other headers set as well. So now we are able to intercept a HTTPS traffic by configuring a Burp intercepting proxy, right? So yeah, Burp not only has a robust proxy, but it also has a lot of other tools which are extremely helpful during penetration testing. The first thing is the scanner, which is inbuilt with Burp. So for instance, I click on the scanner. I can see the scanner has already crawled through a lot of websites I have visited from my browser. For instance, I click on this. It has found a medium level issue regarding to the SSL certificate, and the issue detail is something like the certificate is not trusted, and the issue background, references, and so on. So if you see, for example, the next one, yeah, this is a low level issue which was flagged by the scanner of Burp, which says HSTS is not being enforced, and the references on how to remediate this issue. So the scanner is one of the most powerful tools in Burp, and it lets you automate a lot of test cases, and it automatically discovers a lot of vulnerabilities which can be helpful. And though the scanner is a pro, no, not though. This scanner is comes as part of no. This scanner comes as part of the pro version of Burp. And for instance, say you wanna scan a specific website, you just right click here, do an active scan, which will start the scanning of that specific website which we have discovered, or which we have not discovered, that specific site which we have included. The next one is another very important and very useful tools Burp has to offer, which is the Intruder. So Intruder's prime use case is, for instance, you want to brute force a lot of user IDs, you want to run a brute force on a single parameter, or you want to run a brute force on, say, multiple parameters. This Intruder option is one of the most this Intruder option comes handy as well. So yeah, let's say I want to brute force some parameter in this web request. I double click here, I send it to Intruder. Here we can see the host has been set to google.com, and here we can see the whole request body which was actually sent to the server. And yeah, so consider this parameter IMN is a parameter which you want to brute force, and say you want to brute force from say numbers 1 to 50 or 1 to 100 or whatsoever. I click on add here, which will show that this parameter IMN has been added to be brute forceable. Next, I click on the payloads. The payload set is 1 and payload type, say it's a simple numbers, and say I want to brute force it from 1 to say 30, and it's step 1 and the minimum digits is 1 and maximum is 2, and there are no fractions. So once you click on the start attack here, we can see the burp has already started brute forcing all the parameters, and here I can see the IMN value is 1, which was sent, and there is a response from the server. And say I click on this, the IMN parameter is set to 4, the response is this, and for example I click this, the IMN is set to 25, the response is this, and so on. So yeah, this is one of the most basic use cases of the Intruder. There is a lot which you can do with Intruder. You can give a custom payload, you can give a custom word list, or you can grep for custom characters, you can generate a usernames and include it in the request so that you can brute force say forgot password or something like that, and so on. So yeah, this is the Intruder options. The next one is a repeater. Consider this scenario. So you got a request from a web server, say it's google.com, and you want to repeat this request by modifying some parameters, or you want to remove some parameters. For example, you remove the cookie. You say you want to remove this cookie and send it to the server and want to analyze what is the response, how the cookies are being handled by the server. So I just click on send it to repeater. So here we can see the whole request which was sent from the proxy has been copied to the repeater. Say I want to remove the cookie here, the whole cookie fields. I click on cookies. I delete this and I click go. The fuck, why is this not working now? So yeah, we can see here that whatever request was being sent from the proxy has been copied to the repeater, and say I want to change some value here. Say I want to change the value of zx from this to something 6 to 7 or 8 or whatsoever. I click on, I can change the value here, click on go, I can see the content here. Or say I want to change the cookie value here. Say I want to change this to 2020. You can see that this value has been changed and sent to the server, and also we got a response from this. So yeah, this is the repeater option, which is part of the Burp. The last option and the last tool inside Burp which we will be discussing is the extender. Extender is something like a store, which is like a Burp store, which can be used to install plugins which aid you in security testing. So one of the most common plugins and one of my favorite plugins here is the JSON formatter plugin, right? So here, so when you click on the plugin, you get the rating and when it was updated and what exactly the plugin does and install. So for example, say I click on reinstall here. The plugin got installed now, and under extensions I can see there is a plugin which was installed JSON beautifier and it has been enabled. The Burp store has a lot of other plugins as well. For example, there is a JWT plugin. No, cut this. The Burp store also has a lot of plugins which can be used for testing applications. For example, here there is a plugin which will do CSRF checks. This will be very helpful to automate your CSRF test cases. And there is a plugin here to check AWS security checks. So it is going to show you what are the buckets which are being used, if the request is being signed, and so on. And here there is a plugin which will bypass the CSP, the content security policy for a website. In case you find excesses and you're trying to bypass the CSP of that website, it will show you if there are any potential weaknesses in the website and so on. So yeah, so that concludes today's presentation on basics of Burp. I hope you have learned something about Burp, and in the future presentations we'll be discussing more about advanced techniques and advanced tools which we can use in Burp, so that you can increase your automation workflow, you can increase your performance during penetration testing, and it will also help you reduce your workload and time taken to scan a single project or a single web application or whatsoever. Thank you so much.